Text: Neuromyelitis optica spectrum disorder, NMOSD, is a rare neurological disease associated with unpredictable attacks or relapses. Just one relapse can lead to permanent disability, like vision loss or paralysis. NMOSD is often misdiagnosed or confused for other conditions. The journey to diagnosis can be long and isolating. Rare connections in NMOSD. This film was developed by Alexion, AstraZeneca Rare Disease. All participants featured in this video have been compensated for their time and travel by Alexion. A chair with a wire backrest sits in a large room lit by gentle daylight. Text: We asked 3 people with NMOSD to write a letter about their journey. See what happens when they exchange letters and experience each other's stories for the first time. A film projector plays as light shines from the projector and the film moves through the reels. Text: Craig. Craig, wearing a navy blue sweater and green pants, walks into the empty room with the chair and takes a seat.
My name's Craig. I live in Denver, Colorado. I'm 40 years old, married, and have 3 beautiful kids.
Text: Alex. Alex, wearing a green blouse and black pants, with her guide dog Pony, a black lab, walks hand in hand with her mom, Paula, who is wearing a floral print blouse and dark washed jeans into the empty room with a chair. Paula guides Alex to the chair to take a seat.
My name is Alexandria and I am 38 years old. Blind, bougie, and beautiful. But really independent, strong, and determined.
Pony sits on the floor beside Alex as Paula walks out of the room. Text: Marie. Marie, in a wheelchair and wearing a denim jacket, light blue top and denim skirt, is escorted into the empty room by her father, Ray, wearing a striped button-down shirt. Marie's brother, Albert, in a floral print shirt, and her mother, Michelle, in a gray shirt and black cardigan, stand on either side of Marie.
My name is Maria and I am 31 years old.
In the center of the room, Ray locks Marie's wheelchair in place. A white sheet with pictures of Marie projected on it is hanging from the ceiling behind Marie and her family. Ray hugs Marie, then Michelle hugs her and then Albert.
I describe myself as caring, ambitious, and adventurous.
Ray, Michelle and Albert walk out of the room. Text: Marie receives Craig's letter.
Hey Marie, we have a letter from Craig.
The woman opens the envelope containing the letter and sets it on the table as she opens the letter. Text: Alex receives Marie's letter. Paula, sat across from Alex, both sitting in chairs, opens an envelope with Alex's name on it and removes Marie's letter from within. Paula places the envelope on her lap and unfolds the letter. Text: Craig receives Alex's letter. Craig, sitting in a chair alone in the room, opens an envelope, pulls out Alex's letter and unfolds it. He takes a breath before he begins to read.
I never thought the beginning of my teenage years would be paired with the start of a rare and debilitating disease.
Alex, smiling slightly and turning her head to face forward, in front of a gray backdrop.
Although I didn't know what was happening, I remember the date, December 5th, 1997.
A black and white photo of Alex and her family.
It was 16 years ago that everything changed.
Text: Alex hears Marie's letter. A black and white photo of Marie in front of sunlit foliage.
I was 14 years old and didn't know what my future would hold.
Marie, sitting in front of a gray backdrop.
On that winter morning, I woke up, not being able to see out of my right eye, and had a pounding headache.
A black and white photo of Marie in a gown and necklace. Paula, sitting in chair, reading Marie's letter to Alex.
I was a middle school student, helpless in losing my sight, but also fighting to keep my education. I was also fighting to find out what was happening to me.
Text: Marie hears Craig's letter.
My story begins with symptoms that seem to point to a migraine or a cluster headache. I had woken up with a stabbing pain in my eye, paired with bright flashes of light.
Craig walks toward chair in front of a gray backdrop and sits down.
When the headache continued for over a week, my girlfriend insisted I go to urgent care.
A black and white photo of Craig and his wife, Kelly.
I woke up with a stabbing pain in my eye and blurry vision.
Text: Craig reads Alex's letter. Craig sitting in chair, reading Alex's letter. A white sheet is hanging from the ceiling behind him with pictures of Alex projected on it. Then a black and white photo of Alex and her sister Vio.
Soon after, I had some neck pain, and then uncontrollable tremors started in both of my arms.
Side profile of Alex, slowly coming into focus. Paula, sitting in chair, reading Marie's letter to Alex.
One trip to the doctor soon became many trips over weeks and months. and still no one had any answers for me or my family.
Side profile of Marie before a blurry background. Marie, in her wheelchair.
I was immediately directed to see an ophthalmologist who uncovered extreme inflammation of my optic nerve.
Black and white photo of Craig, his wife and children. Craig, sitting in chair, reading Alex's letter.
I became fully blind and paralyzed from the chest down.
A black and white photo of Marie and Michelle smiling.
At times I felt like the doctors didn't believe me.
A black and white photo of Marie, Albert and Michelle smiling.
They thought I was exaggerating for attention. I didn't feel like that. I had a voice.
Black and white photo of Alex with her family at a party.
I remember seeing a neurologist and being told I had multiple sclerosis.
In front of a gray backdrop, Alex sits in tall chair, while Paula stands and hugs her from behind.
My mom, the strongest person I know, broke down and cried, but I didn't.
Craig, sitting in chair, reading Alex's letter.
I was just processing. I began to endure much more physical pain, testing the strength of me and my family.
In front of a gray backdrop, Alex sits in tall chair, while Paula stands beside her with an arm around her.
We assumed I had MS, a disease that runs in my family. With MS, I had an idea of the life ahead of me.
A black and white photo of Craig, Kelly and their 3 children, smiling.
But then the unexpected happened.
A black and white photo of Kelly as one of their children kiss her cheek. Craig, sitting in chair, reading Alex's letter.
It was 6 years later that I was correctly diagnosed with neuromyelitis optica spectrum disorder, or NMOSD.
Alex, sitting in tall chair with Pawnee by her feet and Paula beside her, smiling before a gray backdrop.
They finally explained the unpredictable relapses I had had over the years that led to my vision loss and paralysis.
Paula, sitting in chair, reading Marie's letter to Alex.
After countless appointments and tech, I was finally diagnosed with a rare neurological disease called NMOSD.
Marie, with her walker, and Michelle standing in front of a gray backdrop as Michelle rests her arm around her shoulders. Then, a side profile of Craig.
A blood test led to the doctor diagnosing me with a much rarer disease called NMOSD. I soon learned having NMOSD meant the risk of relapse would be hanging over me, with the potential for severe and long-term disability.
Marie, in her wheelchair. A white sheet is hanging behind her with pictures of Craig projected on it. Side profile of Marie. Then Craig, sitting in chair, reads Alex's letter.
Nearly 2 decades later, I would have another relapse. I knew what was happening to my body, but refused to admit it.
Alex, sitting in tall chair with Pawnee laying at her feet, looking to the side in front of a gray backdrop. Then a close-up of Marie's letter. Paula, reading Marie's letter to Alex.
My body was attacking itself at my spinal cord and central nervous system.
Marie and Alex sit and listen to the reading of the letters.
I learned that having this disease meant having unpredictable attacks and relapses. But I was also relieved to finally have an answer about what I had been through for the past few months.
Marie, standing with her walker, in front of a gray backdrop.
But the relapses continued, each one bringing new challenges to my health, and eventually I was left paralyzed.
Paula, sitting in chair, reading Marie's letter to Alex. Then Craig, sitting in chair, reading Alex's letter.
I kept thinking, well, maybe it's gonna get better. I just got on my new seeing eye dog, Pawnee.
Alex, sitting in tall chair with Pawnee at her feet, as Paula puts her arms around her before a gray backdrop.
I didn't want to leave her. I didn't want to be back in a wheelchair. And I pushed through yet again with the help of my care team and my own determination to get my life back.
Craig, sitting in chair, reading Alex's letter.
Just taking it day by day.
A black and white photo of Marie standing with a walker in front of her wheelchair.
I was paraplegic for the next 5 years.
A black and white photo of Marie, Michelle, and Albert.
But through all of this, I was determined not to let losing my mobility define me.
A black and white photo of Marie with her physical therapist.
And over time, with management from my care team, I slowly worked my way back to standing. I had to persevere for me and my family.
Craig sitting in chair, reading Alex's letter.
Throughout my journey, one of my biggest dreams and biggest challenges has been to have a baby.
Alex, sitting in tall chair with Pawnee at her feet, as Paula walks to stand beside her before a gray backdrop. Side profile of Alex and Paula.
Sorry, hold on.
Craig reading Alex's letter and rubbing his eyes, tearfully.
So, all right. My husband and I have tried for many years, I haven't been able to get
Alex sits silently with tears in her eyes. Craig, reading Alex's letter.
Recently, my sister decided to be our surrogate. I feel so blessed.
A black and white photo of Marie and her dog, Bambi, sitting in her lap.
Throughout my journey, my family, including my sweet dog Bambi, had been my motivation.
A black and white photo of a smiling Marie.
I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for them.
Marie, with her walker, and her family standing together side by side before a gray backdrop.
They help me maintain my independence as best I can and do the things I love.
It was me.
Alex, facing Paula with tears in her eyes. Paula, looking at Alex, tearfully.
A lot of what she said is, I feel like what I've gone through.
Craig, reading Alex's letter and rubbing his eyes, tearfully.
So even with all the love and support of my family, finding the NMOSD community made me feel like I wasn't alone in this disease.
This rare disease connects us, and we know we're not alone.
Close-up of Craig's letter.
Her letter to me was like almost a ditto of yours.
Paula and Alex facing each other with tears in their eyes.
To be so young, to know what you wanted. You had plans. You always talked about what you wanted to do.
I do thanks to you guys. I am strong. I am independent. I am who I am because you guys never gave up. You never gave up on me. Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too.
So I'm about 8 years into the journey.
Profiles of Craig. A white sheet is hanging behind him with pictures of himself projected on it.
It's been an evolution. The first 2 to 3 years, it's constant. You're just thinking about the boogeyman behind the door, or like you wake up in the morning, you're like, is this my day?
Alex, with Pawnee, and Paula walk into the room towards a seating area. Craig walks forward.
Hearing the stories and being able to share my own has, for me, released over 20 years of pent-up frustration and emotional pain.
Craig embraces Alex and Paula and pets Pawnee.
I'm grateful to be involved in the strong community of people living with NMOSD.
Side profile of Craig comes into focus. Marie's family with their arms around each other stand behind a smiling Marie in her wheelchair. Michelle and Marie are in the seating area, greeted by Paula, Alex, and Craig.
Just having that connection, it's just so powerful.
It was humbling, right? Like I don't think I realized how much I needed the community and just that relational aspect until I was exposed to it. That is a very freeing and gratifying experience.
Marie, with her walker, and her mother embrace one another as they stand before a gray backdrop.
Just hearing his story and like what he went through, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what I went through.
Marie and Alex hug while in the seating area with Michelle and Paula. Michelle and Marie pet Pawnee.
That gives me hope for one day that maybe I might have a family.
There are tons of people around you that care about you, and there's a community of people that want to help hear you and want to help you thrive in your life.
Text, in a disease that feels so isolating, finding community reminds you that you're never alone. Thank you to Craig, Alex, Marie and their families for sharing their stories. Special thanks to the Guthrie Jackson Charitable Foundation, the Siegel Rare Neuroimmune Association, SRNA, and the Samira Foundation for their partnership and continued work to support and empower the NMOSD community. Logo, Guthrie Jackson Charitable Foundation. SRNA. The Samira Foundation. Alexion AstraZeneca Rare Disease. Text, Alexion and the Alexion logo are registered trademarks of Alexion Pharmaceuticals Incorporated. Copyright 2024, Alexion Pharmaceuticals Incorporated. All rights reserved. All other trademarks are property of their respective owners. GL/UNBN/0023V103 2024.